Here, we shall be looking at preparing for compliance changes. So, staying ahead of compliance changes is crucial for success in the rapidly evolving landscape of Ethereum applications. This lecture will provide a comprehensive overview of the importance of proactive compliance strategies and explore the regulatory landscape surrounding Ethereum. Understanding regulatory landscapes is vital to ensure that your Ethereum application operates within the legal boundaries of your target markets. Adopting a proactive compliance approach helps prevent costly legal issues and fosters a strong reputation for your project. So let us understand regulatory landscapes. One is the global regulatory landscape. So the regulatory landscape for blockchain is constantly evolving. Governments around the world are developing laws and regulations to govern the use of blockchain technology. These regulations can be complex and vary widely from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Next is the key regulatory bodies. Several key regulatory bodies play a significant role in shaping the regulatory landscape for blockchain. The SEC and CFTC in the United States, as well as the OFAC and GDPR in Europe, are examples. Let us monitor these regulatory changes now. So, one is staying updated. So, staying informed about regulatory changes is essential for Ethereum development. Regulatory landscapes are constantly evolving, and it's crucial to stay ahead of the curve. Failure to comply with these changes can result in legal issues and hinder project success. Next is the tools and resources. Various tools and resources can help monitor regulatory updates. Websites like gov.uk, the SEC website, and dedicated blockchain news outlets provide valuable information. These platforms offer news articles, regulatory announcements, and legal updates that are relevant to the Ethereum ecosystem. Next is incorporating changes. It's important to incorporate regulatory changes into DApp development. Developers need to understand the implications of new regulations and how they might affect their applications. This requires proactive planning and adjustments to ensure compliance. So here are some key areas of compliance. AML/KYC compliance. So anti-money laundering and know your customer are essential for Ethereum applications. These regulations aim to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing. They require verifying the identities of users and monitoring transactions for suspicious activities. KYC measures often involves collecting and verifying personal information, such as identity documents and proof of address. AML measures may include transaction monitoring to identify unusual patterns or high-risk activities. Next is data protection compliance. Data protection is crucial for Ethereum applications, especially those handling sensitive user data. Regulations like the General Data Protection Regulation in Europe set standards for data collection, storage, and use. They emphasize user consent, transparency, and data security. Ethereum applications should implement robust data security measures, including encryption and access controls, to protect user data. They must also ensure transparency about how data is used and provide users with control over their data. Next is security laws compliance. Securities laws govern the insurance, issuance, and trading of digital assets, including tokens issued on the Ethereum blockchain. Regulatory bodies like the SEC in the United States have issued guidance on token classifications and the requirements for complying with securities laws. Developers of Ethereum-based tokens should carefully consider the legal implications of the projects. They need to determine whether the tokens are considered securities and if so, ensure they comply with all applicable regulations. Here is an example of AML and KYC compliance. So AML/KYC requirements. AML and KYC regulations are crucial for Ethereum applications to prevent financial crimes. These regulations require verification of user identities and transaction monitoring to identify suspicious activity. Implementing AML/KYC. Implementing AML/KYC measures within a smart contract is essential for Ethereum applications. Verification of user identities can be achieved by requiring users to submit KYC documentation and receive approval before participating in the application. Transaction monitoring can be implemented by analyzing transaction patterns and flagging any unusual activity for further investigation. So in the next page, there's a code snippet provided. It demonstrates a simplified example of implementing AML/KYC compliance in a smart contract. So the verify user function allows for user verification, while the isVerified function enables checking the verification status of a user. This example can be adapted and expanded to meet specific AML/KYC requirements. So here, the verify user allows verification, whereas the isVerified checks about the user. Next is the data protection compliance. Data protection is essential for Ethereum applications, especially those handling sensitive user data. Regulations like the General Data Protection Regulation in Europe set standards for data collection, storage, and use. They emphasize user consent, transparency, and data security. Ethereum applications should implement robust data security measures, including encryption and access controls, to protect user data. They must also ensure transparency about how data is used and provide users with control over their data. So here is an example. So now look, we are in the function store data, we are encrypting the data of the user. And also when we use the function get data, it is returning the encrypted data back. We shall look at securities law compliance. Securities laws govern the issuance and trading of digital assets, including tokens issued on the Ethereum blockchain. Regulatory bodies like the SEC in the United States have issued guidance on token classifications and the requirements for complying with securities laws. Developers of Ethereum-based tokens should carefully consider the legal implications of their projects. They need to determine whether the tokens are considered securities and if so, ensure they comply with all applicable regulations. So here is an example. First, in the function verify investor, we are verifying if the investor is accredited. Now let us look at implementing compliance strategies. First is the compliance first approach. A compliance first approach is essential for building a successful Ethereum application. This means incorporating compliance considerations into every stage of the development process, from design to deployment. This proactive strategy helps minimize legal risks and ensure long-term sustainability. Next is the strategic implementation. Implementing compliance strategies involves establishing clear processes and procedures for managing risks and ensuring adherence to regulatory requirements. This includes conducting thorough due diligence, implementing robust KYC/AML measures, and ensuring data privacy and security. Here is a real world example. Decentraland, a virtual world built on Ethereum, has established clear guidelines for content moderation and user behavior, ensuring a safe and compliant environment for its users. Let us look at proactive compliance. First is the reduced risk. Proactive compliance minimizes legal and financial risks. It involves anticipating potential issues and implementing preventative measures. This helps protect your application and maintain its reputation. Second is enhanced trust. Proactive compliance demonstrates your commitment to ethical and responsible practices. This builds trust with users, investors, and regulatory bodies, fostering a stronger ecosystem for your application. Third is implementation. So implement proactive compliance measures through thorough due diligence, ongoing monitoring, and regular audits. Stay updated on regulatory changes and adapt your strategies accordingly. Proactive compliance requires a continuous effort. So here is an example of proactive compliance measures. Proactive compliance checks. Proactive compliance checks are crucial for Ethereum applications, helping to prevent potential issues before they arise. By implementing these checks, you can identify and mitigate risks early on, minimizing the potential for legal and financial consequences. This proactive approach demonstrates a commitment to ethical and responsible practices, fostering trust among users and regulators. Next is the smart contract integration. Integrating proactive compliance checks into smart contracts enables automatic verification and enforcement of compliance rules. This ensures that users adhere to established standards and prevent unauthorized activities. For instance, a smart contract can enforce KYC/AML requirements, ensuring that only verified users can participate in the application. Here is an example. Compliance check in a smart contract. So the code provided in the next page is a simplified example of implementing proactive compliance checks in a smart contract. The perform compliance check function allows for performing compliance checks, while the is compliant function enables checking the compliance status of a user. This example can be adapted and expanded to meet specific compliance requirements. So here is the example. So the perform compliance check allows for compliance checks by the user, and the is compliant checks if the user is compliant with the. Now let us look at compliance audits. Its importance. Compliance audits are crucial for Ethereum applications. They help ensure adherence to regulations and mitigate legal risks. Audits provide a systematic assessment of your application's compliance status and identify any areas for improvement. They also demonstrate your commitment to ethical and responsible practices. The types. Compliance audits can be internal or external. Internal audits are conducted by your team, while external audits involve independent experts. Both types offer valuable insights, but external audits provide greater objectivity and a fresh perspective. Next is conductive effective audits. Effective compliance audits involve a thorough review of your application's processes, policies, and documentation. They should focus on identifying any gaps or vulnerabilities in your compliance framework and recommending corrective actions. It's essential to involve experienced professionals with a strong understanding of Ethereum regulations and best practices. Here is an example of conducting a compliance audit. First, the steps in a compliance audit. A compliance audit involves a systematic assessment of your application's adherence to regulations. It's a crucial step in ensuring legal and ethical practices. It includes reviewing your application's processes, policies, and documentation. It also involves identifying any gaps or vulnerabilities in your compliance framework. It helps to ensure a secure and compliant environment for users and investors. Now we'll look at the tools and best practices. Tools and best practices can enhance the effectiveness of our compliance audits. These include using specialized software for transaction monitoring and data analysis. It's also important to document all audit findings and corrective actions. Additionally, involving experienced professionals with a strong understanding of Ethereum regulations can provide valuable insights and ensure a thorough assessment. Adapting to regulatory changes. Ethereum applications must be flexible and adaptable to keep pace with changing regulations. This means having a strong understanding of the regulatory landscape and being prepared to make adjustments to your application's design, development, and operation. Next is proactive monitoring. So, the proactive monitoring of a regulatory change is crucial. Develop a system for tracking and understanding new regulations and the potential impact on your application. Stay informed through official channels, industry publications, and expert insights. Third is building in flexibility. When designing and developing your application, consider how it can be adapted to meet future regulatory requirements. Use modular code, flexible design patterns, and adaptable data management strategies to facilitate changes. Now let us look at continuous compliance improvement. Importance of continuous improvement. So continuous compliance improvement is essential for Ethereum applications. It ensures long-term adherence to evolving regulation. It helps maintain a strong reputation and avoid legal issues. It also demonstrates a commitment to ethical practices. Next, the strategies for continuous improvement. Strategies for continuous compliance improvement include regular audits, ongoing monitoring of regulatory changes, and implementation of best practices. It's also important to review and update compliance policies and procedures periodically. Next is implementing continuous improvement processes. Implementing continuous improvement processes involves establishing a culture of compliance within your organization. It also requires the use of tools and technologies that support compliance efforts. This could include data management software, transaction monitoring systems, and compliance training programs. Here is an example of continuous improvement in compliance. Continuous improvement is crucial for maintaining compliance in Ethereum applications. This involves proactively identifying and addressing potential compliance issues. For example, smart contracts can be updated to incorporate new compliance requirements or implement more robust verification methods. So the provided code snippet demonstrates a simple example of implementing continuous improvement measures in a smart contract. The update compliance status function allows for updating the compliance status of a user. potentially based on new verification criteria or changes in regulatory requirements. Now, here are some compliance tools and resources. Compliance software. So, compliance software plays a vital role in simplifying the process of monitoring and managing regulatory requirements for Ethereum applications. These tools can automate tasks, streamline workflows, and provide valuable insights into compliance status. Some popular examples include KYC/AML verification platforms and data privacy management software. Second is legal resources. Access to legal resources is essential for navigating the complex regulatory landscape of Ethereum. This can include legal guides, articles, and white papers that provide insights into specific compliance requirements. Consulting with legal experts specializing in blockchain technology is also highly recommended. Third is community forums. Engaging with the Ethereum community can offer valuable insights and resources. Online forums and discussion boards are excellent places to connect with other developers, learn from their experiences, and find relevant tools and resources for navigating compliance changes. Fourth is the best practices. Adopting best practices in compliance is essential for ensuring long-term success. This includes implementing robust processes for managing KYC/AML requirements, data privacy, and security. It also involves staying updated on evolving regulations and adapting compliance strategies accordingly. Here are some case studies in compliance adaptation. First is analyzing compliance adaptation. Case studies showcase how organizations have successfully adapted to evolving compliance requirements. These studies offer valuable insights into the strategies and approaches used to address new regulations. By analyzing these case studies, developers can learn from the successful and challenges faced by other companies. This provides a practical framework for implementing effective compliance solutions. Second are the lessons learned from case studies. Case studies highlight the importance of proactive monitoring of regulatory changes. This allows organizations to anticipate potential issues and prepare for necessary adaptations. They also emphasize the need for flexible systems and processes that can adapt to evolving compliance requirements. These lessons are essential for maintaining a compliant and sustainable Ethereum application. So here are some future trends in compliance. One are the evolving regulations. Regulation of blockchain technology is constantly evolving. Expect to see new rules addressing DeFi, NFT, and DAOs. Stay updated on the emerging regulatory frameworks and best practices. Second is the increased scrutiny. Compliance will become increasingly important as blockchain adoption grows. Expect more scrutiny from regulators and greater emphasis on transparency, security, and user protection. Third is the technological advancements. New technologies like AI and machine learning will play a role in compliance. Expect automation tools for KYC/AML verification, fraud detection, and data privacy management. Best practices for preparing for compliance changes. Legal preparedness. Proactively understand and comply with legal requirements. Develop a strong understanding of the legal landscape surrounding Ethereum applications. This includes keeping up with updates and changes to regulations. Identify potential compliances and developing a strategy to address them. Second is the risk management. Implement effective risk management strategies. Identify potential compliance risks early on and develop mitigation strategies. This includes conducting regular compliance audits and using appropriate tools and technology to monitor and manage risks. Focus on transparency, accountability, and ethical practices. Third is effective compliance measures. Adopt a proactive approach to compliance. Implement measures to ensure long-term adherence to regulations. This includes developing strong internal controls, conducting thorough due diligence, and promoting a culture of compliance within your organization. So here is the summary. So we've explored the dynamic world of compliance for Ethereum applications. We've examined the regulatory landscape, emphasized the importance of proactive compliance, and highlighted adaptation strategies. We've also explored future trends in compliance, including the evolving regulatory landscape, increased scrutiny, and the role of technology.